there's different kinds of PEMF based on what frequency range they use, their magnetic field strength, and their wavelength. So the body recognizes PEMF right away if it's right within the frequencies and magnetic strength that the body recognizes. So the body loves the earth. And so you want to typically stay, generally speaking, I'm not talking about specific cancer cases, because there's experts out there that have used very high intensity for specific things. That's not what Holos is. Holos is very, very earth-based, all native. Everything that's in this already is in your body. It's native frequencies and native magnetic energy patterns. So what's different, what you want to look for if you can, to my knowledge, we're the only ones that have it right now, but your body is so amazing. Every cell, every organ, every tissue, every bone, basically anything in the body that has structure has what's called a magnetic envelope around it. And the design of that magnetic envelope is for the communication process for that specific structure. So for that cell or for that bone. What we have in Holos is called adaptive resonant energy technology, ARE. And basically we have emitting, the PEMF is emitted, the frequencies are emitted. At the same time that the frequencies are emitted, magnetic patterns of energy that match all of the different cells and tissues in our body are also emitted. So basically it supercharges the PEMF by telling it exactly where to go to correct that specific aspect, whether it's emotional, which is our emotions are stored in our connective tissue. That's why when we're really upset, we hurt. And so because we have adaptive resonant energy, when the frequencies go out, like in a mat or in a personal device like Holos or in a handheld, if you have adaptive resonant energy also going with it, it's telling the PEMF, it doesn't have to guess, it knows exactly where to go. And then also, it's great if you can time it to sync with the body's natural biological rhythms, which is what Holos does. So when the liver runs, it runs the liver programs, for example. So PEMF is PEMF, but the tech specs, the 3 tech specs of frequency, magnetic field strength, it's called dynamic flux, and the wavelength is super important. And then also whether there is any, timing involved. And of course, with when the programs are run, in sync with the body's biological rhythms. And then the adaptive resonant energy is kind of, it's just basically a supercharger, and it's in Holos, and it allows the PEMF to know exactly where to go. People are like, how can something this small possibly do all these things? It's because of adaptive resonant energy. When the magnetic patterns are emitted or carried, when a frequency is emitted and the magnetic pattern, for example, let's say the spleen goes out, the spleen, which is of course your learned immunity, it knows exactly where to go to correct the spleen meridian and the energy and information that runs that and open up the blockages. So when you're looking at PEMF, it's important to look at some of those aspects. And of course, the science behind it, right? If there's science behind that particular device. I don't know if there's one in particular. I'm familiar with the ScanR because it's a professional level. I'm familiar with the Nest My Health. I'm somewhat familiar with some of like the Omni pulses and things like that. But the one you mentioned, I'm not familiar with. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I know it looks like somebody else has been asking too about either Beamer or Healy. And as far as those, would they be complementary?
So Beamer is a pure PEMF mat. It's fantastic. I personally haven't used one yet, but they're wonderful. You lay on them for like 8 minutes and they have different programs. They don't have adaptive resonant energy, which is the specific magnetic patterns that tell it where in the body to go, but you're laying on an entire mat, so you're getting great energy. The Healy is not PEMF. The Healy is a single microcurrent, one single microcurrent that hits the skin. It goes through the skin. It's not PEMF, doesn't have to touch the skin. So Healy is single microcurrent. It's a totally different technology, so it's not apples to apples. But Beamer is. Beamer is a great PEMF mat, and you can absolutely complement any holistic therapy, anything you're doing with PEMF. It's going to do nothing but accelerate the benefits and the results from any other kind of, even nutrition. Like when you pair it with nutrition, you're basically giving the body a battery charge throughout all of your meridians. It's like getting, with Holos, it's like getting acupuncture off and on throughout the day and night, you know, automatically, because it goes out and opens up all the meridians. But you know, there's a lot of PEMF out there. I would see, you know, again, what's the frequency range? What's the magnetic field strength? We're all in the earth-based range, so we are completely earth and native to the human body and to all animals' bodies. It's not giving you anything you don't already have. It's just correcting. It's called entrainment. When the frequencies go out, your body sees them and resonates with them and says, oh, I recognize that, pulls it in, which is called entrainment, and corrects the energy patterns in the body to match the correct patterns that are given to it. And over time, as those energy patterns correct, information and energy flow throughout the body starts improving, and the body starts being able to self-heal and self-regulate much better. The biggest things usually with PEMF are better sleep, which is probably the most important thing in your health. Stress reduction. Holos has programs in it. I'm not sure about the Beamer, but EMF protection. So keeping all of that EMF toxic e-smog down in your body. We have programs that strengthen your heart, your nervous system, your spleen, and your pancreas, which are the 4 areas that EMF bombards and compromises. That's how people's systems start breaking down, are those 4 areas with EMF. But EMF protection is strong with PEMF, your energy level, your mental clarity, and by proxy, your immune system, because when you get your system stronger and de-stressed, you know, the energy system gets stronger. And the energy system sits on top of the physical body. So we're 99.9% energy, but because of our eyes, we look like we're all physical. But when you correct the energy system, it's the software of the body, then the hardware automatically starts adjusting. So pain in the knee, you know, pain in the neck. People have just worn Holos, not had to do any specific program, but just wore it. And because of the automatic programs, it starts working on all the meridians in the neck, and the neck pain goes away. So, but each person is so unique. And I always recommend, you know, with any kind of PEMF, whether you're going to use a mat and Holos, or you're just going to use a mat, like you can only help yourself with PEMF, amplify anything else that you're doing, because everything in healing is about voltage. It's just, and in cancer, there's very low voltage. And so the goal generally is to get your voltage up.